man, it has been a minute since I said that. It's actually been 2 weeks. Sorry about the long wait. Had a death in the family, so, recovering through all that nonsense and stuff like that. And, it's good to be back and to finally shoot another kick out. I've been looking forward to this episode. We just finally knocked out another Wrestling Open Forum, which was loaded with mixed reactions of All Out. I gave my personal opinion. Patrick gave his, and we went back and forth a little bit. But it was pretty fun to get back in the studio and stuff. But this particular episode that I'm going to do today is going to be my favorite AEW wrestlers. And I think you're going to find my number one surprising. But I think you can figure out the other four. But my number one, I do think I'm going to catch some of you off guard with this one. So without any further ado, let's get into the kick out. Shut up, Patrick. I'm trying to do a show. Damn. So, sorry. Had to yell at the producer / creator of all this, but, whatever. Still friends, I guess. So, we're going to get right into it. AEW wrestlers that I absolutely love. I adore these 5 wrestlers. They're the reasons I watch the program. Of course, I like other people that are in there, but these are the 5 that just solidify my reasons of watching night in, night out. So we're going to go right into it. Let's go ahead and hit number 5. Number 5 is going to be Hikaru Shida. I love her. I love her style. I think she brings a lot to the table, and I think AEW is making the right moves, bringing her in and using her as a cornerstone. Nyla Rose was the champion after she beat Rio. I wasn't big on Nyla, so, Nyla had that big that heel aspect for me that I didn't want her to win. I wanted her to lose the belt. She was like my Lesnar. I just wanted to see her lose. So I watched all of Nyla's matches. Excuse me. And then, Shida's coming up and Shida's like posing this threat that she's going to take this title. And while I'm sitting there thinking, can Shida really beat Nyla Rose? Well, when they had their match and Shida beats her, a little bit of this Mark feeling came over me. Like, hell yeah, she's the reason that Nyla lost. She took the belt from her. I like her a lot. Now that she's champion, I didn't know much about her before. I mean, I've seen her here and there when she showed up, and I was drawn to her. I watched her, loved her. But when she beat Nyla, she became champion, and she started putting in the work and having great matches. I've even fallen more in love with her style and who she is. I love just about everything there is about her. There's not much that I don't like about her. I don't know. Sometimes her promos can be a little awkward, but I guess that is meant to be. I don't know. The whole what is it? The promo that she had with Thunder Rosa, and she goes, "No." Well, it was a little weird, but hey, you know what? I mean, that's what you do. You learn what doesn't work and what does work, and that obviously didn't work. But yeah, Shida's my number 5. Let's go into number 4. MJF. You're probably thinking, why is he so high? Well, trust me, when you hear the other 3, you're going to know why. MJF is the epitome of a heel. He says everything right. He does everything right. His characteristics are right. His in-ring ability is right. His music is correct. His entrance is right. Having Wardlow along the ride and they're feuding, even though they're on the same team, it's right. Everything about MJF is right. And just to give you a little heads up, Patrick did think that MJF was going to be my number 1, which it makes sense. I get it. And I love MJF. I've always been a big MJF mark. I think he's great at everything he touches. The last match that he just had at All Out really, really, really made me feel good about myself in believing in MJF, and he's definitely a cornerstone, which we kind of knew that when he was coming into AEW. We figured he would be a cornerstone for that company, and he's going to be, and I think he's going to become the first multi-time champion. If it's not him, it'll be Jericho, but I do feel that MJF has a great potential. MJF has a great potential of being that first time multi-champion. And I want to see it happen. I think he deserves it. So far they're telling all the right stories with MJF. I remember watching him when he was with CZW and he came over to PWX and I first met him. And then I ran into him at WrestleCon in New Orleans and stuff like that. He's just, he's a great dude, but he's an even better performer, if that even makes any sense. I mean, he's just good at what he does, and he is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best heel in the game today. He is that good of a performer. He's just, for the longest time I thought it was Miz or Ciampa, but MJF has always been in that conversation, and you got to give credit where it's due, and he is the best heel. So number 3. Number 3, and it's weird because 3 and 2 are super interchangeable, but it's super interchangeable with 3 and 1 and 2 and 1. It was really hard for me to put these guys in order. So number 3 is going to be Orange Cassidy. Man, when you can go out and have your hands in your pocket and not do anything, and you get that crowd moving the way he gets that crowd going, it's an experience. Not only is an experience, but it proves that he understands his gimmick. He understands what he is about. He knows that he doesn't have to push too much to make or to get a rise out of the crowd. He knows what he has to do, and it's damn near perfect how he does his gimmick. When I first saw Orange Cassidy, I saw him against David Starr, and God, man, I can't remember the promotion, but it looks like maybe it's Bar. I don't, Beyond. Thank you. It's Beyond. Man, that is one of the best matches I've ever seen. Like, Orange Cassidy got his ass whooped. And what made me an Orange Cassidy fan in that match was when I saw him, I was like, so he's just a smug asshole? Like, what's the point in this whole this whole gimmick? Who cares? But when I literally saw David Starr beat the shit out of this man, I mean, go back and watch this match, and he has welts all over him. I mean, David Starr is giving him the hardest elbows I've ever seen, just physically dominating the man. And Orange Cassidy hung in there that entire match, changed my complete perception of Orange Cassidy. Just one of the best matches I've ever seen. It was the first match I ever saw Orange Cassidy. So I went on this rabbit hole and I started watching Orange Cassidy matches, and then he gets signed to AEW, and then I was super hype about that, and then he makes his first appearance and the crowd just absolutely loses it, and he's out there and he has his hands in his pocket and he's moving around and he's doing his lucha style, get up, and then he runs against the ropes and he jumps with his hands in his pocket and everybody falls, and he did the suicide dive. It's such a sight to behold, honestly. It's really awesome, and I feel like, man, the AEW is really missing the crowd with Orange Cassidy. Even though Orange Cassidy, everybody knows how popular Orange Cassidy is, but the crowd feeds off of him. He feeds off the crowd so well. It's just, I miss the crowd with Orange Cassidy, and I think he has the best connection with the crowd in all of wrestling. He is very good at what he does. But that's enough about Orange Cassidy. I could talk for hours about him. Also, I will say, I love that his finisher is the mousetrap. It's just a roll-up pin. Like that. That's pretty awesome. I think that's genius. Okay, so number 2. Oh, I had him at number 1 at first, and then I had to bring him back down to number 2. My number 2 wrestler is Lucha Soros. I think he is the heavyweight that we deserve. I love this guy. I love his athleticism and how big he is, and he combines them. Obviously, he does a choke slam that looks really good. He does a tombstone pancake. If you don't know what that is, you have them in the tombstone, and then you lift them up shoulder level, and then they pancake on the mat. He has his tail whip. He has a great looking kick, man. That tail whip is awesome. And I can't remember. Put it down in the comments below, but he does that little spin kick too. I love it. I love that he mocks being a monster. I think it's a good gimmick for him that he has this get up and he makes fun of, when he did the the promo, he's like, "Rawr, rawr," and he's like, "I'm just kidding. I'm not." I love that aspect of him. He's there to, he's having fun while he does it too, and you can see that he gets along very well with his group, with Jungle Boy and Marco Stunt, and I love the whole interaction with that group. Now, obviously, Jungle Boy is going to be a star in AEW. Like we've seen it day in, day out. When he's out there, he's so good. But when you look at Lucha Soros, I think he's going to take that step also and follow Jungle Boy eventually into singles competition. And I thoroughly believe that Lucha Soros will eventually be a cornerstone in the singles competition. He is that right now in the tag team division, and we see them grow every night and how far they've come. Now, Lucha Soros is green, but at the same time, it's super great to see what he's doing in the ring. And when I say he's green, I mean he's green for television, which, thank God they have some of the coaches there to, coach them through and how they're doing. But I will say, personally, I think Lucha Soros has a great look, and I feel like he's going to turn heads. Watch and believe. Watch and believe. All right. Here we go. The moment that you've been waiting for. My number 1 wrestler for AEW that I love. Hangman Page. I freaking love him. Do you want me to go ahead and just tell you the number 1 reason why I love Hangman Page? If you don't know, do you know where I'm from? I'm from Virginia. And my man is from Virginia. And it feels good to finally say that there's a wrestler from freaking Virginia and he's whooping everybody's ass. And so, I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, a cowboy. I mean, years ago, me and Patrick used to put him over like, oh man, Hangman Page, he's great. And I'm like, how cool can a wrestler be named Hangman? Like, it's kind of stupid. I wasn't really into the name of it, but I'd never watched him. Then I got a little taste of him when he came to AEW. Actually, I saw him a little bit before that, and I enjoyed what I saw. But the thing about Hangman Page is he looks the part. And when he's got the build, he has the look. He's a great looking guy. And he's him. He's nobody else. And that's his song, that's a bop, man. That song hits. It slaps, baby. And another thing is his moveset. You don't expect such a kind of a high flyer-esque moveset from somebody like him. He's a big boy. He's not small. So when he's out there doing standing shooting star presses and flipping over the ropes and stuff like that, he's very agile, very athletic. And that's something that the wrestling world leans towards now, is somebody that's big that can be athletic. Hence the reason why Luchasaurus is so high on my list, because he's big and he's athletic. With Hangman Page, when he came in and he was fighting Jericho for the World Heavyweight title, or for the AEW Heavyweight Championship, I wasn't sure if they were going to pull the trigger on him that early. I'm glad they didn't. He needs to go through some progressions first, but man, Hangman Page above all, we're going to eventually see like MJF, excuse me, and Hangman Page going back and forth for World Heavyweight titles, along with MJF, Moxley, and Omega, and Cody eventually. But I'm telling you, this guy, Hangman Page, and I know a lot of you agree with me that Hangman Page is going to be a star in the business, but he just exudes charisma. And not to mention his little messages that he has on his nameplate is hilarious too, man. They're so good. But it was really hard for me to choose between Lucha Soros and Hangman Page because of their size and what they actually do with that size. It's fun to see, but Hangman Page barely edges out Lucha Soros, and I mean barely. To the minute where I had Lucha Soros first on my list, and then I moved him back to second to put Hangman Page up just because I was just feeling it that much. But that was my kick out. I want to hear who your favorite AEW wrestlers are. So you already know. Comment, share, like, and let me know what you think about my list. Thank you for watching the Kick Out.